The Amy B.H. Greenwell Ethno-Botanical Garden is located in the uplands of Kealakekua, Ahupua'a. The garden is in the heart of what was once 60 square miles of intensive indigenous agriculture, collectively referred to as the Kona Field System. Developed and sustained over many centuries, the ancient agricultural system employed banded zones of planting that were adapted to the diverse soils and climates represented by the region. At the coast, where much of the population preferred to live, were the coastal plains called the Kula. This arid, rocky landscape was used to support resource crops, such as pili grass, ipu gourd, and the hala, or screw pine, used for weaving. The most intensively farmed zone was known as the Apa'a, where extensive rock walls and mounds were built to support the cultivation of the core staple crops, such as kalo, uala, uhi, and mai'a. The archaeological remains can still be seen in the garden today. Further upland was the Ama'u Zone, an area of modified native forest in which crops were grown in the understory, such as mai'a and uhi. In the middle of the landscape was a unique planting zone that consisted of a narrow, half-mile wide belt of breadfruit agroforestry. This narrow zone, known as the Kaluʻulu, stretched for 18 miles, from Honaunau in the south to Ka'ulupalehu in the north. Hawaiian cultivators intelligently utilized this mesic environment with a highly variable rainfall to cultivate ulu, which was more resilient than other staple crops of kalo and sweet potato, and could endure the low rainfall associated with drought years. The trees thrived in the young lava soils of Kona, which are often too rocky for the tuberous crops. The ulu helped transform the landscape. The roots of the tree lifted nutrients up to the surface, and the leaf litter helped to develop a facade of organic soil over the young lava. The canopy sheltered other crops from the hot sun and allowed them to thrive. The lower edge of the breadfruit belt perfectly followed the rain line at about 1,000 millimeters or 40 inches, below which it was too dry to cultivate breadfruit. This also defines the northern extent of cultivation. The rainfall declines as the landscape wraps around Hualalai Mountain to the north of Kailua Kona. The upper edge of the zone aligns with changes in the soil that allowed for the more intensive cultivation of annual and herbaceous crops, which were preferred staples in Hawaiian agriculture. To the south, no environmental boundaries are apparent, but the abrupt end of the breadfruit belt aligns with political boundaries, indicating the political support and investment in the development of the Kaluʻulu. Today, the breadfruit has largely been replaced by the Kona coffee belt. The contemporary agriculture is largely used for exports, no longer contributing to local food security. Remnants of the old system are maintained at the Amy Greenwell Garden, preserving a slice of history and demonstrating the potential of the Kona landscape to feed and support a vast population.